This is debate, commonly known as Town Hall Chambers. Would you all please rise for our pledge to the flag?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, republic for which it stands, God, indivisible.
Thank you. Benefit of our transcriber, all give your names, and let's start.
Holmes,
Aaron Woodson.
Betty Simpson.
Becky Wagner,
Lee Malsick.
Barbara Hill.
Dwayne.
That's for Ray.
I have not.
We may still come. At this time, I believe that everybody has received minutes from our former meetings. I would entertain a motion for 2020. Discussion?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. I believe you also have the February 4th, 2020. Motion for those.
So moved.
Anna? Okay.
Second.
Karen? Aye. Opposed? Zero. Thank you. That brings us to item on our agenda, facility plan update.
Give us an update on this.
I'm green, so. My name's projects, one Times Square, third Bay Oaks campus. So with the direction of council, phased plan of, I call it the pretty picture that you all saw, edits of the field, back to you all, hopefully by they have to do some data gathering, better manage the plan. One of the big things that has been going on behind highly encourage you all. I know there's elections. Out to those elected officials. That's really what this is. Really, the town manager, admin to admin, can really put this in place. Roger just doing.
What are they discussing?
What does the school, county, and the school so instead of putting one in place real quick, we're looking at a bigger picture, that's what we need to discuss. So really, how can what they would like out of it, first and foremost. And then come back to the table and discuss. Paul did provide some options.
How do you want us to write letters?
Board as the committee. This is an advisory committee to the town. Letter, you as residents, elections coming up, that political support.
Council to from what I'd heard.
How strongly do you support major renovation to Bay Oaks?
Exactly. And I think we heard from maybe 3 of them. Asked to write to out their support. It just
Perfectly stated, Barbara. Without the board or even Lee County, together and come up with a solution that would be
How big a role is the county expected to play in this, since they only own 2 very tiny parcels?
as large as the school board.
Okay,
Very good.
so we're not as dependent on the county as we are on the school board. If, how is it that this plan that's being drawn up, this phase-in plan that's being drawn up, isn't that another cart before a horse? I mean, don't we need, I keep asking this question, don't we need to know what the school board is going to do or not do before we draw up a phase-in plan? A plan of any kind. Don't we need to know what we're going to have and not have?
Semi-formal communication discussions with them. But the phase plan that comes approved, so there is a process that we have to follow in order to continue.
Who is it that Roger is meeting with?
I don't have the general.
Not, okay. He hasn't met with the superintendent?
Discuss it.
It's my understanding that at one of the council meetings, I don't get the council meeting. I understand that consensus was that they didn't like building on the Carroll Boulevard. Is that correct? Well, I understood. Well, did they like it or didn't they?
My comment? I think the big discussion is, would it be right up front on the street and just look like another structure and not be as welcoming? That maybe some other feature would be first and the building, were it there, would be set back just slightly. And then there was discussion and not full agreement on whether that would be just a walking entrance, a walking driving entrance, whatever. So I would concur with your statement, Lee, that they're not fully on board with regard to that parcel. The entire design, though, has great support. You're talking about specifics now. Does the building go forward? Does it sit back? What is that attractive feature that draws you in? But overall, the plan in general is supported because so the council and administration felt go to the school board county and just say, we want the land. You show them what it is that we have in mind, how the school could benefit or interact. Those interactions would be how the county might play a part, as it has in, quite frankly, our parks. But we can negotiate for this governmental partnership. But without having some of the show them, you can't just go, give us. So it's one of those things where you have to have some of the cart ahead of the horse to have the conversation. And that's where we are. I think we're in a nice spot to show them what we have in mind, that the town council, some minor specifics may and that we have an intent to go ahead if we can get.
It wasn't until and have a planner on paper to where would it best be placed. Or what it is that we've been. So I think with going to vision, that gets hopefully developing that partnership.
Kelsey mentioned Square and Bayside. Times Square, there's an agreement on what that will look like, so it may be voted soon to go ahead with further design. Bayside, we're still trying to nail down so we can send ahead to further design, and that's where we are with this. Without the cooperation, we can't go to further design, but you have to. I feel like Roger is very dedicated to this. He's working hard at it with
Questions? Allison or myself?
Well, there's a new council coming in. Sounds like three of them,
Yeah.
the candidates.
Yeah, one is all in. He loves it. Other one, Dan, will I was mad at him because he said if he had to choose between lighting and Bay Oaks, he'd choose lighting. What is that? Dan Allers. Butch Kritzer is the one who's all in, and Bill Veach is somewhat in. The others they're going to wait and see what the community.
If he gets on.
Right.
Yeah, so I think I don't know if he has one over the other. I think they're both near and dear hearts.
I think so too.
The lighting and Bay Oaks.
Yes, but he shouldn't have said it.
He probably shouldn't have said. We can question him again. I think it's on Thursday night.
Was it,
Yeah.
okay, it's
Yeah.
Thursday, okay.
Yeah,
great.
Thursday
night.
You're right, you're absolutely
Yeah.
right.
That's the chamber one on Thursday.
Right,
This
right.
week.
Thursday,
Yes.
thank you.
Or services at Bay Oaks.
Passed on the 5th was to construct a community building before. What we're asking from the board is to help us with the phase. As you can see, Little League opening day is Saturday. So in the future, we want to model or reconstruct the concession stand. So what we're asking of the board is to help us put together the phases for the community.
That will then go to
Everyone received one of these outs. Unfortunately, a lot of our services are around season. However, to keep in mind, we have our summer program. As of right now, the large thing is little. All numbers. So we're looking board's direction to help us send this to RMP for. Looking to keep the momentum going to.
So, but the face. Well, we can all start working on. Don't want if X, Y, and Z is. But just like, Sarah said, we, knock down the rec center, that's Lee County, that's town of Fort Myers land.
Right.
And build something on the new lot if we don't. So we can work out because they don't want to start this. We don't really want to wait till May because it doesn't know that, we can't rec center down unless residents in our community.
That's, set. However, the pickle want them both indoor. Be placed. So
Well, but I still think building, which we all agree upon, and they can place it, but then without knowing details, know that we need to meet the needs of our. That we don't need. open to our community to go through the list. We're not really talking about, that's a little out, we're talking about what services going down the list and having Sarah kind of help out. Club Rec, maybe we could locate that somewhere. Able to say, wow, you know, wait a month, or talking about our service right now. Sure. Absolutely.
Any of these things, like
Sure,
game
Becky.
day for seniors, that kind of thing?
Yoga class, a morning, and
What about Women's Club? Women's Club has ability there. I mean, I know there's bridge games and things like that, but I mean, it's a great, and it has a lot of outdoor space, so if we wanted to do outdoor pickleball or something there, it has a huge outdoor space.
Working relationship with them. We hosted our the things we're looking at we could possibly hold during the summer.
You have to pay, did you have to pay for that, for meeting at the Women's Club for the Thanksgiving?
We did, and they're
I don't think we'll have any.
or is, you know, area was huge for pickleball, where you normally suggestions, any. I'll be happy to kind of compile everyone's suggestions.
A building and a separate gym.
Yes.
Okay, that was agreed on.
Yep.
So, and I think we agreed that the community building would be somewhere up by Estero Boulevard.
No, we didn't agree.
Well, that wasn't unanimous, but I think we had.
Yes, we did.
Uh,
I think that was
And
a
that the
5-1.
gym, I'm not sure we ever arrived at where the gym was. Whether it would be where the current gym, one of the ball fields is. Decided that.
There's a motion in the minutes, all the motions from our
Yes.
January 15th meeting there, and the one motion was to construct a second building, the gymnasium, adjacent to the pool property on small field.
So
And then
that
the
leaves,
amphitheater behind that.
the current gym property open once it's knocked down. That's the town's. Well,
But we also talked about the amphitheater going
yes.
in that space.
Well,
Right.
well, I'm not sure we talked about it in that space. So I suggested back way back behind the school in that open school land. But I'm not sure we're finished deciding on where places should go. I think we had a consensus on the theater. I'm not sure we decided where it should go. Not sure we've decided what that big plan should be once you. No, didn't we agree that the second ball field, the big one, was to be moved further back?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and
Yes.
which means we're talking about school property.
Mhm.
So I assume that's one of the discussions the town manager is having with whoever it is he's talking to. Ball field back. I don't know what else he'd be telling the school if this back there on their property, but that one I know we had a consensus on.
Right. I believe that we had a drawing that was given to us by Ray.
There's this facilities have been organized. That is such an enhancement. That access and the plan work together with any programming. And I suspect that's going to be students to be able to benefit during the school year. We already know what the after summer benefits are, but probably don't have access. Hopefully that'll be the strong selling point.
Well,
Yes.
maybe, but I may be in favor of that. Theater greatly benefit that's. I know arts budgets have been cut. But I think if you have a theater in there, somehow very accessible to those kids. One of the reasons I thought it. Well, but my point here is, I don't think we've come yet to fully visualize or agree, form a consensus on. Know what we want to do. Don't know where it all. If we're waiting for the planners to tell us, well, this should go. That. I don't think we're finished with that.
It's far enough along now to tell the county, these are the kinds of things we're going to, now it's a chess game, and this gives the overall idea, but they've already coming back to you probably in May. Get the people. I think everybody have to have a starting point. The change is less than what you would have been at. We're on our way.
Oh, we're on our way, but negotiating with the school, I've heard it. You have to tell the school what you want it for. So far, all we know is, I guess, we want the ball field there.
Have you seen the design?
The shifting around is what I guess I'm concerned about. I don't know.
Did you not finally?
Well, at this point, I don't know if I do or not, because I was done.
It's like the amphitheater in back of the school, that type of thing. What I don't see on it, because
I know it does. What I'm saying is, I don't think we ever agreed to that. We ever had a consensus on this arguments. Knows that. If I'm correct about that. Maybe Joanne's right. Negotiator for the town, Roger, mentioned that as a possibility back there. That we haven't, I don't want this to get away from us. So I don't want some planner from I don't know where to come in and say this is the way it should be. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Having some. All done, there's whoever is on council, as
Right.
you said. BORCAB, town council, frankly, has the final. But if we keep worrying about getting everything at the ear of the county, everything's in place, little final details. We could talk for 8 more years about I know how government, and that's why people complain about government taking so long. This is why, because we all want it to be a consensus. Get into what color that front door is going to spend an hour on it.
No, I'm not talking about minutia. I'm not talking about the minutia of colored doors. I just don't want, I think it's wrong of this advisory board any influence it has to let somebody else take what we thought would be a good idea and go do it all in their own image. I don't want that to happen. I think you have to be very, and I think we have to be very cognizant of that. I think we have to be very careful of that. Otherwise, I've seen it happen in this town too often. And in government that I used to cover a lot as a journalist, I saw it happen a lot where very touchy-feely good to have your advisory committees because everybody loved, public input.
Yeah.
And then in the end, to totally ignore your advisory committee and do it because some politician or some planning agency who run by a relative of one of the councilmen decided that this is the way it should be. I think you have to be very careful of that.
I've been stronger at this every single time. Relevant, thank you. Sorry. You want to stay relevant, you have somebody show up and have something printed out in the agenda at every single meeting, a little update on what you're doing, waste their time with, but come in and do a 3-minute every time, this is what we're doing. Be there every single town council. I'm saying that sitting in the seats here at town council, and I know get to it and we get no reports from the advisory committees. Well, does that mean they have nothing to tell us? If you have something important to say, be there every meeting. Don't take a half hour because that gets a, take a few minutes and keep yourself relevant. That would be my recommendation to you if that concern, Lee.
Done a good job of that?
Yes, I think BORCAB is
We get
stronger
3
ones, but
minutes
you
like the
get,
general public?
you can have as many minutes as you want, but I'll tell you when the town 6 hours to do, taking 30 minutes, typed it in advance and 5 minutes, it's greatly appreciated. What I'm saying. Efficient, but keep your foot in the door all. That would be my recommendation, Lee, to take that concern.
Yes, I think we have two. Yeah.
And that shows by the fact that as soon as there are more fruit, there becomes. I think you're doing everything. You are being acknowledged by town council and town administration, or the advisors on this.
Are those town
Yeah.
council meetings, are they every Monday or just one? Every
Every
other
other Monday.
Monday?
Third Monday. Amongst ourselves and welcome to sit in on those.
I did the last one and they've got a meeting coming up, 13th.
Friday.
Yes, it's going to be on Friday the 13th.
Festival, the election, the St. Patrick's Day parade, it got
Parade.
moved to the Friday.
Yep.
And then so it's going to be Friday, March 13th.
Do we have a volunteer? Somebody would like to do the one on the 13th? That will be the last council meeting with the council we currently have. Okay. Barb?
April 6th is. Because it's basically saying, by the current council, certifying the election, platitudes that go with it.
Right.
And I don't know that I would come to that meeting, but I would certainly. And you could submit a report. Okay.
420, right?
So we'll be meeting before that.
Yeah.
That opportunity. The opportunity is there for us. You know, in looking at this, and I'll just touch on it for a moment, but we're all looking outdoor classroom, the amphitheater, have back here, and I think that what that one is really have at behind the reserve. That looks so much like that location. I assume that we wouldn't have two small amphitheaters like this. You can envision the beach school right there, and then of course cottages. So it's just, you look at these things and then you go over and you walk it and look that. Redundant, is that right next to the one that we have? Or are they including that in this? That's just an aside that I had when we started talking about the amphitheater. Because I thought the amphitheater that we were talking about was going to be ball fields so that
Like
we could
right
take
here.
advantage. Yes,
Right. Like
Exactly.
Incorporating that,
yes,
the multi-use,
yes.
right,
Yeah.
and that would have been the,
Yeah.
that's
Mhm.
what I understood too.
Yeah. Okay. Well, as we look at things, picking up new things. Anything else on the department update?
Department update, if we're So any suggestions as how you would like the phase to to help with the, to me and I will kind of combine.
For an alternative place, is the Mountain House also available?
Yes, ma'am.
Like for an Easter event or
Absolutely.
special events?
Yes.
All have a much clearer. But if you could kind of
Blank
do
paper.
that, and then
Happy to send that before next month's meeting.
That would be good. Thank you.
might be interesting.
You know, for the actual workout room things, if we could work out some kind of reciprocal while that's under construction, if they would be willing their facility or what kind of fees they would charge. It is the only larger workout facility on.
Possibly during the cooler months, if that's installed while we renovate the weight. That's a great, yeah, it's a great.
Update? Let's go to that facility renaming.
It's updated primarily January. You can see a lot of our numbers. Pickleball has skyrocketed.
Yeah.
We are all aware if anyone's been to the facility in the last few months. We are in full gear for summer. We will start summer registration beginning April 1st for Fort Myers Beach and Beach. We have our Leap into Health Fair on Saturday the 20th. We unfortunately had vendors at the last minute were ill, but I think we still had Bennett, the chiropractor, who had a health fair. Both of the papers helped advertise it. We had an yesterday to kind of revisit. It was the Bork Bash mix. We were just throwing everything in there at once. Yeah.
Let's see.
Whatever.
We have
add it.
ordered additional steps that we've received, and we're in the process of building a new dumbbell rack. So for our fitness classes, we will be able to roll out the weights to everyone rather than everyone piling into the weight room to get their weight. So classes will have their own designated weight.
Are we getting another bike at all?
Into that, most definitely, it's finding the room. As you know,
Yes.
it's tight, but staff is in there often trying to have is what the needs of, but we'll.
We'll also drive our safety, the person all want it, but we have to make.
When I was out there, there's a big group that come at 7:30 sharp, because that's when it opens up. And it seemed, looking at that, there was, and so that's what prompted me, I'm not going to say who, that's what prompted me to ask about the bike. Come on, Malik. And so it's kind of like we,
I was talking to some of the business, were also saying that they found out it wasn't open at 7:30. Want to cut into any beach. Is that an option?
By town council. So I can look into that woods and amend that budget.
Right.
And I things around in my operation. This year to see if we could
Not being utilized?
About 11:30, it's very busy.
Yeah.
Once pickleball is over, around the 12:30, 1 o'clock, about 5 o'clock is our slowest time.
have Club Rec.
Yes.
Though. So
Oh,
we still
Club
have our
Rec.
after-school program.
What about on Saturday? Could we cut it an hour on Saturday?
About accommodating. So we cut back to one group and not.
They want to
think
come
if-
in the morning. What time are they talking about?
6.
Good God.
The staff gets there at 7.
6, it's the middle of the night.
Yeah.
It certainly is.
Maybe for retired people.
They're lined up by 7:15 every morning, but it's the same group, and
It is.
it's
yeah.
kind of their breakfast
know,
club. They
yeah.
have a good time.
So we open at 7:30?
7:30.
Yes.
7:30 to 8.
And you've talked to people who want to come at 6?
Yeah.
Do
well,
we have a volunteer bank?
Yeah. Trying to cultivate that. But I'm going to tell you, volunteer, not ever, never, and Barbara knows, never without staff. Volunteers always have service, but staff would. Yes, we do have a couple of volunteers. Hope to build more.
Starting to work on the next recommendation.
That's
And I
right,
would suggest
Barbara.
that,
Yes.
You know, 6
Definitely
o'clock
put that
a.m.
for the
opening
extended
might be,
hours.
and they can wait 6 months and then.
Because we do start it over the summer.
I guess what I would also suggest is back to what they were doing. Those were a couple of things that were asked by me by residents. I've really tried to talk to people about people that don't know, and that's something that we're going to address next month. That they're like, well, the rec center doesn't really have anything for us. Yeah, they do, you know. So it's kind of like an eye-opener of hours, and a lot of older people want to go in the early morning. I know I do, because I've got a busy schedule. If I can get that workout in the morning, I'm walking, which is fine. That workout done, and then get back, take a shower, and go to my other.
Any other questions with the department report? I know have a rental, which we profit about $1,200, and that is reoccurring. It's the powerlifting, so it's in conjunction with the county. They utilize the facility a Friday evening and then Saturday. That's something that occurring along with different field rentals, which we spring break groups to. Any questions with the department report? Yes, we sold just about, I believe it's 60 tickets, so we didn't meet our 100, but everyone had a great time. Yeah, for the first time, I was very pleased with it. Barbara and Lee were in attendance. The food was delicious. We sold almost all the wine. I think we only had to return bottles, so we were able to, we judged it perfectly.
Surprise.
Yes.
I did help.
We gave 4 bottles back?
That's-
Nobody told me.
I was up there selling tickets all night, so.
Well, and I have to say, because I was going to mention. The music was awesome, the staff did camaraderie, and most people danced, I have to say. It was a well done event.
Thank you.
Yeah, there were a lot of compliments. Who on the food? Who? The DJ was really good.
Yes.
He had he had all the right equipment.
That was
And
my
the
right
favorite.
songs.
And the right songs.
I just have one question. Did have acted
Well, he
like
should've,
he would
but-
be a contender. You had acted like
He
you were
was
going to be a
sliding around in
contender.
his socks.
Barbara and I would have won hands down, but they didn't have it.
Oh, all
They
right,
didn't
there you
have
go.
one.
All right.
We'll note that for next
That there was no
year.
contest. I
Oh,
can
there
tell
had
you,
to be a
I
contest.
no longer dance like I did when I was in my teens here on this beach.
There was a couple there that would have really
They were
taken
awesome.
everything. I mean, they were really good. That guy, the black slacks and white shirt, he could throw a lady around really well. They were going under the legs, and they were really good.
They were good.
And I told him so.
Yeah.
But Barbara and I cut quite a run.
Well, that's good. That's good.
For old time's sake.
The floor got a real workout. It was a very good event, and
glad
everybody's to
everyone
be congratulated for that,
Yes,
because
yes.
We want
everybody who was there, and I made the rounds, and everybody who was there really was having a good time. There were people there older than me. I was,
And we met new people too.
and they were just having a delightful time. So I think you need to do it every.
I think there needs to be better. All knew that it was that, you know. But it was. So I think if there's.
In River, the day before, there was nothing. There was nothing. I looked, I made it a point to look, and I thought, where's the advertisement?
The details. Effort on the marketing.
It was interesting, you got right up at about the same number you got years ago, Civic Association, about 60 people. Unfortunately, we didn't advertise real well either. I made the mistake, I threw it on the Final Four basketball night, but it was about the same number, quite a number of the same.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
Oh.
So, but I think with more advertising next time, because I think a lot of people out here who like the 50s. Like I say, I got around, and everybody at those tables, and most of them were on the floor almost every song.
There was one point, almost every. So
Which is the mark of a success.
Yeah, yes, after that I was,
And I didn't know
I was
you
okay.
gave, I didn't know you gave 4 bottles of wine back.
We got our money back, we
My table
returned
had
it.
to polish those off.
You didn't know that.
Board action needed, any updates from the board, I'll, take into consideration. If you have anything throughout the next month, I'll be happy to start compiling all the board. I'll keep it on and just,
When this likely is oh, they're not going to be taken out, but can they, so you have a baby?
Yes.
The reason I'm asking is that I the beach is on the base. Off of that because I think
I think those mangroves are by Lee County. Problem, but I agree with you. I've always said that it's unfortunate a waterfront and not
Not be able to
capitalize on it.
exactly.
So it seems like at some points, they talk about mitigation, so a couple spots, then they by adding in another. Everybody agrees to that. Get a way to mitigate and create opening. And
them back, cut them down, we're not really taking them out.
Right.
You just
We're
want
not asking them to,
a
you
view.
don't want them taken.
No,
Cut. And they're,
Exactly.
like up at USEPA, they do have the water.
back in real estate, explained to people that in for it and said, we'd like to trim those mangroves. And there was a percentage, and I want to say many years ago, but it was like a third. Yeah, and there was that percentage, and then if you stayed consistent with that, didn't try to cheat, then the next time it came up, then you could cut to that same level again. And that was very helpful. Yes.
DC works with. I do
Good.
think the trimming
People an opportunity to. Else, any other names that came up? I think that that idea of yours is very helpful. Use that location.
Yeah, you take advantage of that
You
waterfront
bet.
property if we can.
Well, the official name could include that Estero Island that everybody was excited about, so Estero Island Bayfront Park, but you know that it's called Bayfront Park, just,
Yes.
yeah, as the common
bet.
name. But it could have Estero Island Bayfront Park.
Bayfront Park. Oh, you bet.
I get it, but yeah.
I'll get that.
We'll talk about that later when, about the red you're talking about.
yeah,
I need to clarify some things I said.
dedicated to her.
Your name involved there that we want to, I'll bring that up. Well,
We could bring, I mean, not name it.
Actually put
a couple called the Dunnings. They had a lot to do with that preserve also. In fact, when all was said and done, they were the ones who gave a lot of the property to the, although Martha in her will to her actually sold part of that property to the Dunnings, and then the Dunnings gave it to, some of it to the beach county. And then Martha, I believe the will, I'm trying to get a hold of the will. Found the lawyer that I think, but didn't let the niece, or the niece didn't sell all of the property, which you call, I think it was the part along the bay. Martha eventually was given to also. Dunnings gave theirs to it. I think the only parcel the Dunnings kept. But, so I'm researching that.
Good.
Because I left the impression that Martha gave the whole section,
Yeah.
or the whole parcel to the county, and that's not true. Although she did leave some of it. And the Dunnings gave the good part of the rest. So there's two people. But he was a resident of the island who was a fairly prominent nature photographer. So if we're going to consider names, which I think we should, also to consider, those are the two prominent names of how we got the preserve.
That's the preserve.
Well, I think there's some, I think the mangroves you're talking about along the bay by the park were part of that. We're run into what you know now as folks. I don't know that the baseball fields were, but I think down by the bay they were. So I'm trying to research it. But yes, at some point I think we consider save us the preserve. I do too.
Yep.
Yes,
Yeah.
and
All right.
Thank you,
so
Joanne.
much, Joanne, for being here.
I appreciate all.
We will see
We
you.
wouldn't get this far with.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Being
Thank
here
you.
as our liaison.
We'll see you on the 13th.
Yes.
Yes. Very good. Thank you. Yeah.
Right, that's a sticky wicket for all
2.5
of
million, Mr. Newton.
But I think what we should consider, and I don't know if we budgetary issues, what would keep us from facilities, right? And to say exactly. So if there's a love to have, you know,
At Mayaca, they named the tower, the lookout tower, they named boards.
There you go.
Were named after different people, the boards in the lookout tower.
Which is a good suggestion as you,
Yeah,
Oh, that's a great idea,
Yeah.
observation
So
tower.
you're talking about
Why
selling
not?
naming rights?
so as we continue, any suggestions, I mean, you all have my email, so if anything pops in the middle of the night, feel free. And I'll continue to compile lists every meeting.
It's very clear.
Cool, but then also the Bay Oaks Recreation Campus. So that's something to keep in mind.
Does it to you? Okay, so I think that may be
College.
may not be
College
the
campus.
best, so I think the idea of
Especially the close
campus-
proximity. of
Hospital
the school.
campuses or,
Right.
it's not.
Okay.
I don't
Just a
mind it.
consideration.
I don't mind campus.
Doesn't just sound too complex. Because it is a complexity of
Complex is
things that we
complex.
offer. Park.
Okay, now we've got the Estero Island Bayfront Complex.
That'll be fun.
Matanzas Path. Ties in with Matanzas.
Right? I
Name
know.
of the beach.
I-
But it's
Then you-
suitable, given the collusion.
Right, right.
Campus also includes park-like settings.
Okay,
What'd you
there we
say?
go.
Campus, the definition also includes park-like settings. Definition.
I like campus.
Well, who suggested last time Estero Island? Island.
Well, it was,
Probably, yeah.
we had,
I mean, I
we
like
had
it.
neighborhood center, social center, cultural and sports center, part of the island. But these were just things that I wrote down
Oh,
as we were
yes.
talking last, so. Yeah, so Estero Island Neighborhood Center, cultural or neighborhood complex, whatever. There were a whole lot of ways you
Yeah.
can go with it.
Cultural and sports center.
Right,
Right.
To me,
They don't want a lesson.
they don't want a lesson.
Uh-uh.
Right,
They just want to be able to come and enjoy it.
exactly, yeah.
That's what we want them to do,
Yeah, we
too.
want it to be creative. Legacy.
Yeah, exactly.
Kansas means master.
Right.
I know.
Well, from what we had gone through last time. Yeah, well, no,
He got his wounds there, did he?
Right.
He was wounded in his.
Yeah.
Conceived in Estero.
in Estero Bay.
Real pulse.
Yep.
Well, it looks like Estero Island is important to us.
Like a sterile island.
Yeah.
I have no problem.
The only Estero Island I know of on the organization is Estero Island Historic Society. Anybody else use the name?
Garden Club,
The
Estero Island
does?
Garden
Oh,
Club.
you're
Club.
right, okay.
Yeah.
So there's two.
Okay.
The Stero Island Beach.
Yeah, I do too.
If we could.
Well, we've got to get rid of that mangrove
Right.
out there.
I agree though with, I think
could have-
Joanne is maybe right. I think it's going to be a tough haul to bring those down to the point you can, talking about standing on the ground and seeing the
And
bay.
looking.
Right.
I don't
Yeah.
think it's going to happen. Now, if you're going up, what are we going up, 3 stories on the ground, on the
sure.
community center, you're going to be able to see the bay.
Yeah.
You're going to have a bay
But that's a
view.
far cry from on the ground, level 3.
That's going to be tough to do.
You bet. Right.
Should
like
have
the
an
observation.
tower.
great, kids.
Educational.
Up at Cabbage Key, that.
Oh, that one is a really.
See that in our plan.
Go back by the mangroves. Whoever's property that is.
Okay, I think that we've already moved into it, but let's go into board member items. Start with you.
That will be checked on. So
Good.
that wasn't my only thing. Have done that. And
Right.
I think just touch
Oh, I think so
throwing
too,
names
because
out there and just
well, look what happened with the mangroves.
exactly.
All of a sudden, it's Bayfront Park.
Well,
Good.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Karen.
So I've pretty much chimed in on everything, so I think I'm good.
Okay, very good.
The Ling Brothers Museum in Sarasota, and also we're taking a trip to Key West in April.
Oh,
So I'll tell you how that went when I get back. Bay Oak Social Seniors, boss.
Boss, okay.
Yeah.
good.
It'll be the QS Express.
for an overnight
Yeah,
or?
yeah, it has to be, we went once, we went and came back in the same day, that doesn't work.
No,
So
it's
we're
only, it
staying
only gives
over.
you
Yeah.
4 hours.
Yeah,
And we were always worried about making it back, so.
right.
Yes, it's going to be, what, 3 days, I think?
Oh, my.
Yeah, in
Oh,
April.
that'll be nice.
That'll be
And when are you going to Ringling Brothers?
The 17th, March 17th. I've already voted. That's voting day.
Good.
Yeah, it's important for our town council.
You bet.
We have to get people who favor
Yep.
Bay Oaks.
That's right.
No.
All right. Lee?
So I'm confused here. Was there a consensus on a Staro Island Cultural and Sports Center?
It was just one of the names.
One of the names that was wrong.
So what was the consensus?
Just discussing.
Like Estero Island Bayfront Park.
but we didn't get it.
No,
No,
No.
we're just throwing out a.
But we would change the name, start the rebuild? Is
Yes.
that what it would be?
Yeah, we don't have to. The other thing, I'd like to say something about it. The idea of getting more volunteers. I think. What can we do to help?
Board, staff speaks to our guests on a daily basis, already there. So it's, getting out. I'd be happy to reach out to Gary.
Gives them name tags and T-shirts.
Yes, and so it'll be mimicked like the because, you know, when people come to the so we would do that. All of the wonderful opportunities. So it'll take us volunteers, and they're trying to get the word out. So, anybody who is interested, I know, and the staff.
Are there are there potentials among the pickleball players?
We actually have a few pickleball volunteer, and they host our pickleball. Have one. It is full, however, they encourage anyone to come and just view and kind of.
Well, are they, but I mean, are any of them, perhaps some of them are willing to go beyond just pickleball?
We have a pretty full schedule, but we continue to talk to them, and passion is pickleball.
Volunteers, I think that'll other than,
Right.
you know, nobody wants to. Nice thing for them to get out there.
I think there's some great.
Something else that I don't want to get lost in the shuffle, since we're talking about naming rights, was the idea we talked about months ago of over at Sanibel selling, not advertising, I guess, but plaques on walls for the business people who support their recreation sponsorships. Their wall is full of them. $500,000 to $100,000 they got. I don't want to let that. Council needs to be told we'd like to see that. Part of our original.
Oh, yeah. True.
But
It
if
was.
it's not, it should be.
Yep.
Because it's a
No,
pretty
we
good
talked
way
about
to raise money.
Walkahatchee does it too.
Sure.
Margahatchee does it. But I talked to Judy's mama about it. It's very popular out there. They got quite a few responses from their business people. Out here, I don't know how long you have to talk to the business to get something, but I think we should try.
Program starts, and got those banners out. That hotel is sponsoring them, I guess.
want
My
theirs
hotel
there.
has to sponsor.
That's-
That restaurant is sponsoring them. So I think once you get the, definitely be
And
a
go right
success.
down to Sterile Boulevard from the
Right, am I right?
short point to the long point. Absolutely, because like I say, Sanibel does well with it. And also, they do well selling their T-shirts, paraphernalia. They've got a whole counter full of that stuff. But we need to go back and see if that was included in.
Selling the T-shirts and
And
the
the
sponsorship,
corporate
yes,
okay.
yes.
I
those
couldn't
are
remember
both
if we
very
actually got it
spelled
in
out
there.
just like that.
Okay, I know we didn't talk about it when we
It's
met with
there,
council,
probably.
but met with council, I meant to, and then I forgot.
It is.
And I've already talked about this, the Martha Red thing. I wanted to qualify that. I was, wasn't all of her donation. I think I don't know why, but anyway, she left it to a niece. But I think that if I can find I can come up with the will, I will. Who I think represented them, and he's in Waynesville. I've got his phone number, so I'm going to give him a call this week. But if he did, he may not
okay.
be. But there was, I think it was a little complicated. But I believe the land along the bay was put in perpetuity to the public. That street where all those houses are, I think was part of it. 5 acres of that were built. And he donated 22 acres. 22 acres of that preserve over there came from Dunnings.
Yes.
I don't know how much came from Martha. Together, they were the, so I think we're on the right track of Dunnings and Martha. And again, I just wanted to congratulate. I want to consult, well, you know, do you need something like that this summer to get people out?
We are willing to go out.
Is that pool, the second pool?
We have different organizations that utilize it for practices and things.
Because it was done by the county.
Right.
Well, there you go.
That's right there.
We want our property.
FTC.
Because we did have a lot of junior Olympic activity in what they called the TADs and the tarpanettes swimming group. Kids that were in there have to travel. I think at that time, I want to say it was the Neptune, largest pool right at that time. Which seems strange now, but
Well, the very first swimming pool in Fort Myers.
at the outrigger.
And he hired a guy, and he hired a coach from Fort Myers.
Uh-huh. Right.
Rancho Del Mar.
Right, Rancho Del Mar. They live just around the corner.
After, if the new gym gets built, back in the early 80s, when Edison Junior College had its basketball team, Coach Thimler brought a game out here. Shortly after they built it, Rec Center was built in 85. He brought a team out here in 86. His team came out and played another junior college. I think it was Indian River from over. They actually did a conference game at Bay Oaks Gym on the farthest court. So the old Edison Junior College now, Southwest, I don't has a basketball program again. With a new gym, you might be able to persuade them to play a game or two out. Because it drew a number of people when Now, that's down the road when we get a new gym, but it's a possibility. The school might agree to do that. Years ago, what was Notre Dame doing down? Notre Dame came down here. Oh, I think baseball. I thought the swimming team came down, practiced for a week or two. Probably spent most of their time at the Laney, but Notre Dame came down here, and I believe they did something with the pool. And the people running Bay Oaks at the time trying to get a program together to get other colleges to come down. I don't think it ever went anywhere, did it?
I'm not aware of the Notre Dame out to different,
And that, I think,
quite a few reoccurring groups that come out to us once they get back from their first trip.
And, well, you know, both universities have baseball teams. So, I don't know. Second field is the big field?
regulatory, yeah,
It's
it's,
not.
That regulation?
I don't think,
I know the first one was, and we built it for
The
Little
large
League.
field?
I want to look into that. I thought it was. I know we built the first field for Little League.
yes,
And then we ended up playing Babe Ruth League there, and a lot of home runs were hit. But
the large field,
I never hit one.
I
But
think it's not.
I never hit one. But they were going over the fence when the Babe Ruth Leaguers came in. But the second I thought was.
Okay.
I'll check it
Verify
out.
that.
If it was, or even if they would come down here for practice, you
I
could
think,
draw some
yeah.
people. But anything like that that'll get beach people to. We have these facilities, farm them out. I guess that's all I have.
And they can get,
Well, they can get to us in, well, they can get summer.
yeah.
That's all we're getting out here. This.
Thank you, Lee. Barb,
Nothing.
nothing?
No,
Nothing.
we've covered it all.
Oh, my goodness. Well,
Besides that, it's nearly 10:30.
yeah, and
Let's wrap
I'll
it up.
tell you, I am thrilled with the idea of this Estero Island Bayfront complex
Yeah.
Bayfront or
Campus,
Bayview?
combat,
or
central,
park,
they all
whatever.
start with
Uh,
C.
The observation
Yeah,
tower, the historic, the things that keep coming up. I just think it's important that we remembering what our heritage is or with this park, so that's important to us.
So Estero Island, you're saying?
Yes,
Bayview or Bayfront?
Bayfront Park.
Bayfront. Complex or
Bayfront
park
Park is
or
downtown
whatever.
Miami, too.
Let's not get too fancy.
Yeah,
Isn't it Bay, yeah, Bayfront
that's
Park
true.
downtown Miami.
okay. All right, our next future meeting date would be April 7th at 9 o'clock here in these facilities. And Barb, you agreed to the 13th. The next one would be that new council, which would be starting April 6th, which would be the before our meeting. That's going to be a very busy meeting for them. And maybe we should wait until the 20th and then tell them what Bay Oaks is all about. So if
Well,
that's okay, let's.
In a joint meeting? In a joint meeting with the new council as soon as we can get it. I think that's how we fill them out rather than 3 or 4 minutes at a meeting. wish you would, because I think we should get with the new council as soon as we can. Because, you know, the bottom line is here, as a lot of people have mentioned, there's a lot of money involved here. We're talking about spending some money. I'd like to do that, and I think we need to work on.
That'll get on the schedule for us to be able to meet. Let them know that we are eager to chat with them. If there is nothing further to come, I would. We have the motion and the second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. We are adjourned at 10:31. Oh, Allison, going to be here for a moment? Okay. Thank you, everybody.
I had two classmates in my high school that died in the same week last week. Both of them were, I know one. Yeah, Jesus. My age.
That was awful.